Sure. Where do you want to start off?
Hey, Tina, while we're waiting for everybody, I think it would be great to see where everybody's from. If they could put in the chat box where maybe the state or country they're from.
Sure, that sounds great.
California, Oregon.
I made it.
Over. Hey, Bernie.
Hey there. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, show's yours.
Awesome. Hey everybody, I'm Bernie Anderson. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. Look at all these people. I just love it. I get to collaborate with all these amazing agents from across the U.S. What better company can I work with? It's awesome. Okay, so you are at the How to Keep Your Business Sustainable. We have these great agents, Brian and Colleen from, I can't read, California, I think. Is that right? And Paul and Brian and Tracy.
Yes.
Awesome. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start. I'll tell you just a smidge about me, and then if each one of the panel members can tell a little bit about you, and if you have a team or how long you've been in the business, and then I'll go into the questions. I think this subject is perfect for what's going on right now. A little bit about me. I've been in the business since 2002. I started in Northern California in the Auburn area between Sacramento and Tahoe. And I didn't know a soul, and I started this real estate business and fell in love with it. When I moved back to Texas, where I'm from, I ended up launching a few offices for Brand X, and then I've been back in sales probably for about, past 6 years. I was a productivity coach for a good year, coached new agents. And then for EXP, I actually did compliance for a year. So, and sold. So I've done a little bit of everything. So anyway, if we want to start with Brian, Colleen, you guys tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go down the line here.
All right, that sounds great. We are located in California's Central Valley. Have been blessed to have Colleen. We've been married 30 years. Been doing real estate for about 20 of those years. So we sell about 70 to 100 homes a year. We have been with RE/MAX for almost a decade prior to moving over to EXP about 2.5 years ago. And we're pretty excited to be on this panel today. Did I miss anything, Colleen?
No, that's it. We're glad to be here today. As far as the team, it's just Brian and I. We were a big team when we were at RE/MAX, and we brought our team over when we came to EXP, and they all joined on their own, so they're doing their independent thing. We collaborate with them constantly, but it's just the two of us and our son.
Awesome. Paul?
Yep, I'm here. So my name is Locatelli. I've been doing real estate since 2001, 2002. I'm from Santa Cruz, California. Been selling and been a broker for all this time. Just out here trying to keep our heads above water and keep on going. The guy next to me, Brian, was a partner of mine at one time, and now we are back together as partners. So can't wait to hopefully figure out how to share some great ideas with you guys and get going.
Great. Brian?
Hi, Bernie. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Just wanted to take a quick moment. This has been a fantastic event. Thank you, Tina, and thanks for everybody showing up. My name is Brian DiDiego, is the guy either next to me. I'm not sure which side. I live in Santa Cruz, California. We're stuck between the ocean, mountains, and the Silicon Valley. I've been selling real estate since 1992. Joined right when I got out of high school. I've been having a lot of fun, super energetic, pumped to be here. 4 children, and I'm very tired, but I'm excited for this panel and to learn a lot. Thank you for showing up.
I love Santa Cruz, California. Tracy.
Hi, everyone. I live in Maryland and am located about halfway between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. I've lived in the area my entire life. I've been in the business for about 26 years. I was with a small brokerage for 15 years, went to Remax for 10, and came to EXP about a year and a half ago. I do have a team, but it's essentially just my daughter, who started with me 4 years ago after she graduated from college, and a part-time transaction coordinator. We work our businesses somewhat independently. We're there to support one another. And of course, I've been sharing my experience with my daughter, but we do somewhat run our businesses independently. I do about 15 million a year. The average sales price for me is about 600,000, and that equates to about 35 transactions a year. So we stay pretty busy. But I found for me having the more individual approach was better than growing a team, which I tried briefly at Remax, and it just wasn't for me. I like being out on the streets and selling.
That's awesome. That's me too. I like to do everything, but I do have my husband helping me now. Okay, so I thought long and hard about the questions to ask, because I really feel like I'm 18 years in the business. So I really feel like anybody out there who's newer in the business, this is depending on what area you're in, how the market's reacting to this whole pandemic and the shutdowns. Where I'm at, I'm busier than I've been in many years, but I know eventually it's going to slow down a little, or a lot. I don't know. So I'm not a predictor of that. It's just what I've seen in the past. So here's my first question. And again, if we'll just go in order on what, how, and I have this first question. What is the one skill in your business that you've mastered over the years that's going to help keep moving your business forward, regardless of what type of market it is, regardless of a slowdown, regardless of if it's a buyer's or a seller's market? Right now, we have a seller's market, especially, and it's slowly turning to a buyer's market. So Brian and Colleen, what is the one skill that you've honed over your career that is helping keeping your business moving forward?
Well, I'm going to grab hold of this one and start. What has shaped the business that we have developed over the years, and we do about $25 to $30 million a year. And in our market, that means that we sell anywhere between 70 to 100 homes a year. We haven't quite broken the 100 mark. It's a goal of ours. We want to do it, darn it. But last year we sold 79 homes. The two of us did, and it definitely keeps us pretty darn busy. But the key is that we have focused on what we call our real estate family. We are at the core. We've gone through a lot of different coaching systems over the almost 20 years we've been doing this. And we at the core are Brian Buffini trained, which is, if any of you have experienced that, it really is a training program on working by referral. And so from the very beginning, we decided that we were going to work like farmers and plant slowly and develop and create and cultivate over time. So we currently have, as far as sustainability is concerned, we have over 200 of what we would call A clients. And that means those are ones who we know will refer us business, refer themselves, and constantly are talking us up in the community. We have A+ clients, and we have about just short of probably 100 of those who are just our biggest cheerleaders. And then our database as a whole at different levels is is about 1,000 people. And what that means is that we spend our time, energy, money, and efforts on just really taking care of, loving on, and giving we call it first-class service delivered to that real estate family. And what it's done over time, if you are newer in this business and you are looking for something that is going to be truly sustainable, it's just really working on that. I mean, it's everything from, we do events. Obviously, some of these are very curtailed. We couldn't do our spring movie night, but we rent out an entire theater, and that's what we do. And we invite, if it's a family movie, we invite our top families. If it's, a thriller or a romantic comedy, we invite all the couples that are on our list that we know would like a date night. And so we do this kind of a thing, and we give them dinner, and they go to the theater, and we get to just see them one-on-one. We do events throughout the year that benefit people. We just did, despite COVID, a shredding event where we hired a big shredding truck, and people just showed up. And because no parks were open, we did it right in front of our own personal home. And we had 100 of our clients bring stuff around tax day that they needed shredded and destroyed. And we did it in such a way where it was, safe and social distancing. But we constantly do events which just serve our real estate community. We just finished doing a challenge. We noticed so many people were doing stuff to their home because they were home. And we ourselves were redoing some of our front yards. So we offered a $50 gift card to 5 different winners of folks who would post on our Facebook page something they had done to their home. And what was great about that is it gave us a chance to interact, of course, and then we dropped off these gift cards. But the better thing that came out of that, just because we're loving on them, is one of those couples decided that, you know what, after doing all this, we're ready to sell this and it's time. And so we're going to be listing with them in the coming week. Another one of them said, hey, I'm going to be transferring in November. You guys are going to sell my house. And we'd gone in and given them the gift card for some renovation they'd done. So it caused that conversation, and it's going to spin itself into obviously some listings. So we constantly, do things that, we send out items of value every month. And it's just this constant staying in touch with people. Please don't get us wrong. We get new online leads. We do all of that stuff. Those things happen, but we put the core of our money and energy into the people that we know are already our biggest cheerleaders. And we never are afraid to ask them who they know that might be buying or selling a home. And it's just really turned into the fact that every week we get some sort of a referral from our database. Just yesterday, I had someone call, or 2 days ago, called and said, hey, my aunt's going to be moving into our area as she retires. You guys sold our house 3 years ago. Honestly, we hadn't talked to this couple, but they've gotten a little monthly newsletter thing from us, and they are friends with us on our Facebook page, and they see our interactions. So the first thing they thought of when it came to real estate with us. So that's a very sustainable method. It's not anything exciting. It's not as far as high tech stuff is concerned. But what it is it's relational, and it allows you to really dig deep in relationships with folks. And occasionally we take folks that we've gotten to know really well through the process to dinner, and then it never fails. Sometime in the next month or two, they got a friend they're sending our way. So it's just a really fun way. So that's one of the most sustainable things we've done. And honestly, it has kept us so busy. I've got to agree with you, Bernie, that we've closed 11 transactions during COVID. It's been crazy busy. And it's just because we're connecting with people all the time and trying to serve them. And I'm going to ask my husband, did I miss anything, sweetheart?
You guys can see why I married her. Absolutely fantastic. So I want to just we have 9 listings that are pending and 6 buyers, and the other agents are asking, what are we doing? So here's one thing, if you're writing down, taking notes, you need to think like a farmer, but act like a hunter. Think like a farmer, but act like a hunter. So think long-term with your business, but daily do activities that will move you towards that direction. And that's what we have done over the time.
And to add to that, yeah, I wrote 150 handwritten notes during COVID. So my hand hurt because I just wanted, and I didn't write notes that said, hey, can we help you with real estate? I said, hey, how you doing? How can we help you right now? How's your family doing? Just like, no, we're thinking of you and we love you. That's that kind of think long-term and do activities constantly.
And the last point I want to make is, we, for many years, we spent $25,000, $30,000 a year for coaching from Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, other coaches. But with EXP, we definitely have we do have an unfair advantage with EXP. With EXP, we've got an iConversation that happens every single Friday. And even though we've been doing this since 2004, we're there every Friday. And if we miss it, we watch it on YouTube taking notes, because that is an unfair advantage that we have nationwide, one brokerage sharing best practices. Hands down, why should you be paying for coaching when you have that at your fingertips? So that's the highest recommendation I can have for everybody in the audience today, including myself, is to actually listen to those iConversations. And Tina, we really thank you for leading the way on that.
That's awesome. Paul? Are you here, Paul? What's the one skill that you have that you've honed that will keep you moving forward in a transitioning market?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
I'm back. I had to unplug and plug in my mic. This is new, so this is the shoot from the hip. One skill that I've been doing since I started real estate is I don't take no for an answer, meaning that I put my head down and work, which a lot of people say and do, which I actually do, is just staying in front of your clients. Even in these times, I'm on Facebook, I'm doing live video all the time. I'm interacting with my clients, I'm interacting with restaurants, helping them out. I know it's just this sustainability is just to try to keep a positive attitude and try to keep moving forward on stuff. I mean, back in 08, 09, when everybody was losing their homes, my partner and I, Brian, who's sitting next to me there, is we stay positive, and even if you were losing your home, we try to make it a positive thing. What can we do to get you out of this? Helping you out. I'm just trying to think of all the other great stuff that we've been doing. It's just staying positive and always looking out for your clients and helping them out in anything they need. I mean, I do stuff like there's people that won't go to the dumps. I have a dump truck. I go to their house and collect their garbage for them and go to the dumps, which is pretty crazy, but I do it. Sustainability. So I'm just trying to think of some other ideas. Brian, you want to jump in? I'm just trying to think of a couple other things here.
Sure. So to describe it, my word's consistency. And for all of you out there that have been doing this a while, I think you understand. For the new agents, it's consistency and not taking no for an answer. Real quick, I started right out of high school, and I went to go for an interview for a Coldwell Banker, and basically they came out and said, "You're too young and you're never going to make it." So 3 months later, I sold the broker's house he grew up in for $750,000 back in 1993. So I have a very strong work ethic. But we provide, to cap on with Paul, we provide concierge services to our client. We listen, we talk with them, and we roll our sleeves up. We're very hard workers. I've been very fortunate that there wasn't a ton of realtors in Santa Cruz. We live in a very expensive area, and I got started right out of high school. So I really started jamming, and I started making a lot of money. And from that point, I've just been staying in touch with my clients, and that's the biggest thing you guys can take away from here. You don't need a bunch of money. You just need to work hard. I've worked open houses for other people, and I'm just growing my business from that. And now the word spreads. These guys work hard. They're very good at what they do. I am very I don't want to use the word weak in terms of social media. And that's a strength Paul has. So we play off each other with our strengths and weaknesses. And, for all of you that are out there, I highly recommend you guys get a SWOT analysis, and that's an SWAT, and especially if you have a team, and surround yourselves around people that will help you with your weaknesses, because everyone's got strengths and weaknesses. And I highly recommend you guys do that. I think that'll help you moving forward. But consistency. Work hard. Like Paul said, we help restaurants. I started a nonprofit. I attend community events. And like Colleen said, I work my A-list. And I am old school. So I am 47, started at 19, and I still send out mailers to everybody. And I am consistent on that. But I have surrounded myself now. We are getting ready to build a team, and we're surrounding ourselves around people that are just, bottom line, much more intelligent than So there you go.
Awesome.
Thanks, Brian.
Yes, I love that comment Brian made about being old school, because I don't like to think of myself as old, but after 26 years in the business, you start thinking, gosh, I guess I am. But being old school has worked for me. And I think probably one of the most important things that I can think about that's made me successful is finding what I'm comfortable doing and doing that and doing it well. And that is, in my case, it's being up close and personal with my A-list. And I can't say enough how that sphere of influence is so critical. But it doesn't matter if you've got 5,000 names in your database. What matters is you're part of those people's lives, and making it personal is something that I actually really only learned a few years ago. And when I started opening up and letting them also know a little bit about me, because we're so taught to listen and be good salespeople by being good listeners, which is so true. But I realized I wasn't letting them into my lives. And these were, people that were not necessarily, like, they were referrals, people that I didn't know personally yet. And you let them know a little about you, and you become human, and they respect you more. They are the ones that tend to make it to the A-list for me. So my passion outside of work is horses. And I live on a small farm, been involved with horses my entire life. And that is a niche market that I've worked for many years, the equestrian properties and horse farms and such. So I'm also very active with private and public equestrian clubs. So whatever, if you've got a hobby, a passion, get involved in those organizations. And, there's so many options now with social media. There are Facebook groups that lend themselves to the equestrian world. I'm very active in all of those local ones. And that has been, it's all referral now for me. So, and that's really because, again, I work my A-list and I become part of their lives. They're friends. The friends become clients and the clients become friends. I guess that's probably as simple as I can make it.
That's awesome. So I want to point out, it's interesting because I've been part of the I conversations before, and I listen in on the I conversations. And when you talk to agents across the US and across the world, you find the commonalities, because I'm listening to each one of these great agents, realtors and business owners, and I hear them doing the same things I'm doing, that it took me a while to go, oh yeah, just get back to basics. I signed up for Buffini. They get an item of value every month, and I do personal notes. Now, I'm not as good about pop buys, I have to be honest. And I do 2 parties a year. And here's the thing, if you're new in the business, Brian Buffini, the CRM cost me $178 a month. And I only have 140 people in my database. And my top of the line, I probably have my A+ people that I stay in contact, just like Tracy has her A+. And we all have our A+ clients that constantly refer to you. Right now, my business is not coming from Facebook ads, Zillow leads, or anything like that. It's strictly 99.9% is referral. And I don't have to market myself except staying in contact with my database. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can make it work for your budget. And so if you're new in the business, the first conference I ever went to real estate wise was a Brian Buffini conference. And I actually didn't implement it until 3 years ago when I joined EXP, and my business went from 3 to 4 million a year to 10 million a year. And just like Tracy, my husband is a horse trainer here in Fort Worth, Texas, or in Granbury, right outside of Fort Worth. And he I go to his horse shows. I have clients that now I've done $5 million worth of business over the last 5 years, and I meet them at horse events. I'm not a horse person, but I'm married to a horse person, and he brings a lot of business in. So just remember, take your niche and focus on that, and then you can add those other things later. Okay, next question. So now we know what you're doing that you always do to keep your business sustainable. So now in your market, wherever you are, if you see, like right now, I'm seeing the high-end homes actually starting to drop their prices, because our market is crazy like the Northern California market was when I started real estate. And so right now, have you thought about what new skills are you going to try to learn to move your business forward or to increase your business and grab more market share in the future? Because we all know that, like right now, the NAR has had so many people joining. We've had this increase of realtors, and the average realtor makes what, $30,000 a year. So to stand out, I always tell people, when people start getting out of the business, it's the people that have been in the business a long time just grab more market share. So you, as top realtors in your area, what are you going to prepare for? And what are you, like in the past, in 2008, agents had to go learn how to do short sales, right? So we had to learn how to deal with banks. So what is it that you're going to do to prepare your business for any type of market that comes, whether it's a slowdown or an increase, or what are you planning on doing? Hopefully that was clear. Brian and Colleen?
Okay, I would actually like to poll the audience real quick on the word sustainable. So if you guys in the chat box can write down what you think the word sustainable means, and let's take about 30 seconds and do that, and then I'll answer that question. That's a great question. What does the word sustainable mean to you? Go ahead and type it in the chat box, because here we go. Excellent. Having survived the crash of 08-09 and not done a previous short sale in my life, to being number one in the short sale market in our Central Valley, being the Bank of America guy that had to knock on the door. Actually, their agent representing Bank of America had to knock on the door and offer cash for keys. I can tell you one thing: always be upgrading yourself. That's the key. Always be upgrading yourself, because when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot. When you're green, you grow, and you're ripe, you rot. We're all going to need to learn how to use video more. We've been doing video tours of properties for many years. We've actually been using video quite a bit, but not to the level we have in the last 5 weeks. I'm going to let Colleen kind of speak to that, what we've been doing, just kind of give you guys some insight regarding 3D tours, video tours, Facebook Lives, all the good stuff. Colleen?
Well, really, thank you. He's sharing so nicely today. So the truth is that we had to figure out right away how to kick it up a notch, because open houses had been such a critical part of what we did to drive traffic into homes, to sell them, and to drive new clients into our database, really. And so we had to instantly come up with a way to replace that face-to-face when that was removed from us. And so we went out to each and every one of the homes we had on the market, and we started doing virtual tours. And I mean, just being goofy and putting ourselves on, I don't say goofy, but not being afraid to put ourselves in front of we just flipped our iPhone around and started talking and taking people through the house. And I made myself available for anybody that wanted to. And I will be available at the house if you need me to go over here to the home and give you a virtual tour. Of course, we created more professional ones. We used, the 360 tours. We started hiring. We put out a little more money toward a company here in town which uses the Matterport, and we started doing Matterport tours and video tours, and each and every one of those homes was sold because it gave people an opportunity to see things in a new format. Did those tools exist prior to COVID-19? Absolutely. Were the Sousa Group using them? Absolutely not. We just kind of touched and used them here and there, and we realized that was a key to making connections with people. And another example is, I was sharing earlier that I have somebody who is coming in from out of state. They're coming in from Colorado, And her niece is the one that we sold her house about 4 or 5 years ago. And she called and said, hey, my aunt needs help. So what I've been doing this week is going out with Anna, the niece, and I've been walking through properties while FaceTiming Aunt Donna back in Colorado. So she's been doing the tours so that I had somebody here, but I've had folks buy houses through FaceTime tours. I did that years ago, and this era has reminded me that I've got a client right now who's looking for a very needle in a haystack kind of home, and we don't have a lot of inventory. So I am, rather than them coming out with their 2 special needs kids, I am walking through houses, FaceTiming tours about once a week for them when something new comes on the market that might potentially be good for them. Those are the practices that I'm going to carry out even when COVID's over, because what I've discovered is it serves my clients better. They are busy and they want to see the homes. They don't want to miss out on opportunities. I can't predict, just like Bernie said, what the market's going to look like, but currently we are short on inventory. We have like 2 months in our market, and that is not enough. So when houses come out and I know I need to be aggressive to help close those sales and help find my clients the homes they want, then I'm getting my camera and I'm going out into homes and I'm using the technology to give them a chance to see the properties.
And we've been doing actual virtual listing appointments for many, many years prior to COVID-19. And virtual listing appointment, how to do that? You can use any technology. You can use Facebook, you can use YouTube, you can use Google Hangouts, you can use a variety of different platforms. And for the new agents out there, I think that some of the ideas, pick a platform that you like, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform you like, and start doing videos as much as you possibly can. Go to vacant homes, do tours of those vacant homes. Let the people that are surrounding you, the sphere of influence that you have, know that you're doing real estate. Give them a market update. How many months of supply of inventory do you have in your market? What's the average days on market? What's the average list price to sales price ratios? Know your numbers. Be the expert in your neighborhood, be the expert in your community, and you will be the one that people will go to if they see you enough on social media doing real estate. They will actually do real estate with you. So always be upgrading yourself. And the new agents, get out there. It's kind of like when you're on one of the comments was on sustainability was on the ocean. It was an ocean comment about a boat on the ocean. When you're a new agent, you're a rowboat and you're out on the ocean, and the rowboat is really affected by the waves a lot. But as you go through the years and as you go through months and years, you get upgraded in your rowboat to a speedboat. And when you've been doing it as long as we have, you're like a ocean liner, where the waves are still there, but they're not as effective because we've sustained over time. And you can do the same thing, because we all started at the same place. We all started at 0. My first sale was door knocking 1,000 homes, and that was way back when. And you can do the same thing, you guys. Absolutely.
Awesome. Paul.
He took everything I was going to say. No. 2008, when in 9, when it all happened, when the crash happened with the short sales and foreclosures, really, I didn't get really good at any of those. I couldn't stand them because, once again, my guy who's sitting next to me, Brian, we always said that short sales, foreclosures are going to be here for a couple of years and then they're going to be gone. So people who got great at them didn't have any other business. All they knew was short sales and foreclosures. They didn't know how to talk to their normal clients. They didn't know how to.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Hello?
There you are.
I'm back. So what'd you hear? Nothing?
No.
It's all right. I'll start over. I was talking about short sales and foreclosures, how people got really good at them. But myself, I never really caught on to them because I knew they're gonna be a fad. They're not gonna last forever. Nothing lasts forever. This whole epidemic, this whole thing is not gonna last forever. If we're gonna get through it, and how you're going to get through it is just putting your head down and keep on working. When the short sales were happening in 08, 09, I kept in touch with my clients. I kept in touch with my friends. I helped out people. It was a time that was really tough for everybody, but we got through it. And in this time, it is about video. I mean, back in the day when I was starting with Brian and them so forth, it was about pictures and mailers and magazine ads. Well, those days are gone. It's about taking that camera of yours. Everybody has the iPhones, drones, or whatever they have now, and doing video. That's going to be the number one key, is even live video. I mean, I do live video all the time. People make fun of me, but people like to see it. I have a thing called Loco TV, which is a different thing, where it goes around and it's helping. It's not, I don't even talk about real estate. It's more about helping out, once again, restaurants, friends, families. People are hurting right now. I'm videotaping them, talking about them. So we got a lot of people already saying, hey, they love seeing. I got friends back in Georgia that are going, we want to see more of that crazy TV show you've been doing, helping everybody out. That's what real estate is too. It's helping people out. If you got to think about it, real estate is helping people. It's a people business. It's not about, Zillow and referrals and all that great stuff. Zillow does great for some people, but not for everybody. I believe in your next door neighbor. I believe in your referrals and your clients, taking care of them. So it's, learning new tools. We always have to learn, and then how I'm going to learn next and what I'm going to get good at, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, and always learning. I always like to learn and hear the people on the board and talking. Brian and Colleen have some great ideas. It seems like he's a big farmer out there in the Central Valley, which we're seeing a lot here in Santa Cruz now. Is we're seeing a lot of people buying up farmland and building their own vegetable gardens, having their own chickens, because they want to be able to grow their own fruit and vegetables and so forth. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of now. But once again, I'm here to do a lot more video. I do a little bit of the mailers, but I'm trying to stay away from those. I know Brian likes doing them. I'm going to see if I can do it more on video, Facebook, Instagram, and live stuff. Brian, what do you think?
Well, I mean, we're different. I mean, Paul, I came out of high school selling real estate, and you came out of high school and became an international super underwear model in Europe.
Yeah,
and if everybody sees these pictures of us, of course Paul can do video.
Anybody can do video.
I know, and Paul and I go back.
I don't know about you though.
Paul and I go back and forth, everybody, and
yeah, if you want to hear some bickering, we're ready to go.
Yeah, trust me, we could go for hours. But I think when our market changes, personally, I've never been interested in short sales, foreclosures, but there's a huge opportunity for people there. I'm not going to go after those. I'm going to work on my computer skills. I have a
he needs a lot of help.
I have a 10 and 13-year-old daughter who has superior computer skills. So I'm actually going to work on those so that can help me. But again, that SWOT analysis, I have people around me that are good, right? I got Paul doing video. I got some people out in the crowd right now. We have a young man, Brett Gocher, missed the Olympic Games, Stanford graduate, but he's savvy with computers. And so from that perspective, I've got these guys, but I'm going to jump in and learn KV Core and learn YLOPO. I'm a mailer. Throwing a plug into OutSuite out of Florida. If you guys haven't used them, I advise you guys to contact them. I feel strong about staying consistent with my A-list each month. And I'm telling you guys, it works. Okay. I work very hard now, but if we rewind the EXP clock, I've only been here since July of 2018. As long as I woke up, I know I could make a couple $100,000, God willing, if I just woke up. And before that, I'm a driver, and in our area, I've been at the top of my game. I've closed as much as 25 million in 1 month. And so there's an opportunity for all of us to make as much money as humanly possible. So I go back to my weaknesses, and I'm going to do video. Paul and we're coming out on May 29th through our Santa Cruz Real Estate Team Facebook page, and we have the interview, and we're pushing that interview right now in the Silicon Valley. And it's just a story about us. We were killing it, and then we shut our company down, and him and I didn't talk for years, and now we're back. And we have a goal. I don't care what market it is, but we have a goal that we're going to do $100 million in real estate sales. And I know we can. On good years, we've done 80 plus million just between us. But I don't know, my focus is, I think whatever you're afraid of and what you're weak on is what you got to focus on. And part of that for me is going to be computers, and the other part's going to be agent attraction. I'm going to spend this time, and we're going to get agents on our team to fill spots that haven't been filled. And I think the lady's name was Shaughnessy from New York. She had some amazing nuggets the other day. I was listening to her, and basically be yourself. And I'm going to surround myself around people with like minds and not like minds, so we can service our community.
Awesome. Tracy?
Pretty tough going last after these guys. I'm going to reiterate a little of what just about everyone touched on that was on my list for sure, skills to improve coming up, and that is the listing skills. I think we've all kind of been forced through COVID in some ways to embrace technology even more. So, just again, I won't repeat, but the Matterport, the video walkthroughs, the FaceTime videos, things like that. That's something I've been working on these last 2 months. And thankfully, I have a 26-year-old daughter on the team, as I mentioned. And for those that don't have the benefit of someone young nearby, there are just so many tools through EXP, including the agents that are the best tools I think we can offer. The ability that we have to communicate with all of them is really amazing. There's just no excuse to not get the help that you need to embrace those new tools. The second thing that I've been tossing around for a while, just haven't had the time to do, but I really feel, again, following what I said earlier about do something that feels natural to you or is a passion of yours. And I really want to focus more professionally on those downsizing sellers. And I feel like that is probably because of my age. I'm 58 years old, so I would say that 80% of my sellers now through my sphere are similar to my age, maybe a few years older, and they're all downsizing. So I have had a stager that I affiliate with for my listings, but now I have an organizer, and one of her services is actually meeting with them and helping them prepare to downsize. And it's really been a pretty cool thing. I've set it up with her where she will do an initial consult with them, and I pay for that. Once I know I have the listing, it's $250, and then they can take her on and continue on, by the hour, by the day. They work out whatever works for them. And with that, being a downsizing seller, getting the listing, but they're typically buying elsewhere, and I can refer. And now it's so easy to refer through EXP, much easier than it was at Remax or my former brokerage. So I found I'm doing more referrals, and I want to grow that and really not miss that opportunity.
Awesome. So I love that here's the commonality here is each one of these agents has been in the business long enough to go through a downturn, and we do what you call failing forward. And as I tell my daughter, watch where I make mistakes and just don't repeat them. Of course, kids, they're going to do what they want regardless of what you say. And that's the same in the real estate business. As a productivity coach, I would tell people, I promise you, if you do this, it will work. But you have to figure out, of all the ideas you get of all these breakaway sessions, pick one thing and hone in on that. I have done a couple of podcasts. My cousin produced them, and now I need to market them. And it's to help sellers and buyers. Most people buy or sell a home once or twice in their lifetime. So I'm giving them my okay, so we're going to start with you, Tracy. The last question we have is, what in your business, this is a business. We're not just realtors. We run our own business. And so we have expenses. We look at rate of return. I've done it. I've done the Zillow leads. I've done the realtor.com leads, and I'm not good at converting them. I'm good at being in front of my my database. I'm good at, I started my business with open houses. I realized I could build trust easily. So I had to go and cut back a lot of times, and we all get those phone calls. So what is it in your business that you foresee cutting back on so you can focus on something else as we restructure businesses depending on our market? Does that make sense?
It does. What's funny is even prior to COVID, but especially also through this time, I think we've all, tightened our belts, and I had already cut out. I felt like I'd cut out the fat. So this question was actually a little bit harder for me because I feel like I've been doing a lot of that over the last year, and especially the last couple of months. I toyed with paying for leads a few times over the years, and like you, I'm not good at converting. I found I got better results by working my A and A+ list. So I went back to that, and I gave up paying for leads because it just, again, what I've said over and over, it just didn't work for my personality. So it does for some people. There are some very, very, very successful agents and teams that have their systems, and it works for them. It didn't work for me, so I don't do any of that any longer. Print ads, I have one publication that actually does work for me, but of course I've cut those out. If you do trade shows, I don't know, maybe you've got a specific opportunity. I've done a couple of those. They weren't a great return on my investment, so those I will not be doing in the future. Another EXP agent, Chuck Zepp, and I, when we first joined EXP, felt it was important to have some office space, even though it really isn't, our mantra, but we felt that would help us in some of our agent attraction efforts. And I don't think it did help a little, but we gave that space up weeks before COVID. And I think, for those that may still have office space, unless you have a team where you feel you have to physically get together, and that really is, critical for your team to have that office, I would give that up. If I had it, I'd give it up.
Awesome. Paul and Brian?
Oh yeah, you ready? I saw one question. I saw one question there that saying that Brian sold 25 million in 1 month. Go ahead and tell him how you did that, Brian.
I'm going to be teaching a class in
There
the
you go.
world, and basically, and it's going to help all of you if you kind of live in higher end areas, people with equity. But long story short, I have very good connections in the commercial world, and what I do is I take residential clients and I list and sell their property, and then we roll them a 1031 exchange into commercial properties. That's basically giving them a higher return on their investment. And we're going to get really detailed because that's going to help everyone in this room get listings, and then it's going to help, you're going to get paid on the flip side of it too. But yeah, we had a gentleman in Santa Cruz County. I sold 18 of his properties to one hedge fund we work with, and then rolled them into a Walmart. Was an amazing month. But I want to answer the question before Paul goes in. I'm not going to cut back on expenses, Bernie. Paul and I are going to double down, and we're going to do the opposite, because in our area, EXP is starting to grow, and we're going to grow EXP, but we're going to grow our market share. We're gonna take on. We're just starting to build a team. We've never done a team. It's just been him and I. But we're gonna double down. We're gonna double down on our people. We're gonna double down on our finances. Paul's probably shaking his head right now.
You're 100% correct. One thing I won't do is the mailers, so that's on him.
But we're gonna go after it. So I just want to let you know that I'm going the opposite. I'm gonna spend money so I can grab market share while our competition's not.
And that's a good point. A lot of people stop spending money right now because they're trying to save it because they're not making as much. But this is the time to find out where to put that money. I mean, if you have to take it from Zillow, take it from Zillow and put it to your clients, because your clients are the people that are going to actually make you more money in the future. So by cutting expenses, like I'm saying, is the mailers. I have to give it to Brian. He does pick up a lot of leads from them. I'm trying to do something opposite than him. Like, I'm cutting out the mailers and going strictly on the Instagram, Facebook ads and LinkedIn. So I'm going to do more of live stuff and try to hit people right in their face here I am, here's what's going on, here's how I can help you. So by cutting expenses, the only thing I'm cutting on is the flyers and the mailers. But like Brian says, we're going to grow. We're actually going to be paying for new people to get their license. If they sell 2 to 3 houses a year, that's great to offset some income for them. So we're going to actually be helping other people in the world where one big thing is, a lot of restaurant people aren't working. We're going to try to help them go get their real estate license and pay for it out of our own pocket to see what they can do. Because I'm telling you, the best salespeople is the people that serve you every day. It could be car salesmen, it could be restaurant people, waitresses, waiters. You got to just see who's out there. People at Verizon that aren't working, people just that sell every day that we can try to help their business in the future. They can be real estate agents or they cannot. It's up to them. But we're definitely, like Brian says, we're going to double down on growing our business and not cutting back. In our area, we do have to have a office space because in Santa Cruz, people like to go in the office and talk and learn, and that's where we thrive because you guys are just getting a taste of what Brian and I are. He's definitely type A. I'm more touchy-feely, help you out. He's more about the numbers. So if you can find a good teammate and good partner that you can team up with in this time to work yin and yang, kind of say, it will definitely help your business in the future as well. So
awesome. Okay, so Brian and Colleen are going to go next, and then Jonna put a survey in the chat box, so please fill those out when you get a chance when they're done. Brian and Colleen, are you going to double down, or are you going to cut expenses?
Well, I can share with you, and I know Brian's going to want to jump in here before we're finished, but I liked what Paul was just saying. We used to, back in the day, we owned total regions of our metro in Zillow, and it was a very profitable tool at the time. I mean, we run our ROI annually. We take a look in November and December, what was our best return, what do we want to do, where do we want to put our money, and there was a time where those things were valuable. But we have been pulling away very, very much so over the last few years. The one thing that this has taught us, or what we decided over a year ago, was that we were going to start leaning into our database, as I shared at the very beginning, a little bit more. And we have almost completely pulled our presence out of, it's very nominal what it takes because of our production alone to stay on Zillow, just because we do know people go there. But we have shifted those kinds of monies, and we make ourselves sit on our hands when those calls come in that sound super great, because we are nerds in that we love all the new technologies. We'll get a call that there's some great new artificial intelligence that is going to help identify those people that need to sell and blah, blah, blah. And we'll let's try it. And then we go, why did we try that? Because really, where are we going to put our time, energy, and money? Like Paul said, it is time to invest your money. We're investing it into our database first and foremost. And the example was that we looked at each other and said, you know what? We're going to offer out $50 gift cards to 5 different families from Lowe's. And we went out and bought the gift cards, and we turned around and took that $250, and it's going to pay for itself tenfold. We put our time, energy, and money into supporting local businesses. We have gotten very involved in being a big supporter of the local children's hospital. We've done that over the past decade, and this year that's where our money goes, because that's where people in our local community put a lot of time and energy, and we want to show that we support the community. And so then our name gets out there through their website, through our website. Embracing the social media, like Paul said, that's huge. We're fortunate enough to have a 24 and 27-year-old and a 15-year-old that know so much about the technology that every time we want to make a post, they'll jump in there and go, no, if you want to get the most, momentum on this, the most people following it, this is how you do it. And so we're learning about how to embrace the social media, because it is a way. And Brian can talk about the fact that every time we put a home on the market, he spends his money in the advertising and being in, like Paul said, in your face with those homes. And we have so much traction on each and every listing that it turns around and pays for itself. Did I miss anything, Bryce?
Awesome sauce, Colleen. Awesome sauce. Here's the best advice I can give to new agents. Okay, when your budget is zero and you have nothing, use things that cost you nothing. As your budget increases from $500 to $5,000 to $15,000 a month, like we're doing, you just need to look at your return on investment. Okay, and the best advice I wish somebody would have given me 10 years ago was do not get into long-term contracts. We just got out of one that was 3 years long. It was a magazine. It was like, oh, everybody needs this magazine. Everybody, this magazine is making $100,000 a year plus, and it's going into your target neighborhood, signing us up. So we signed up. Guess how many of these we got from that? 0. So do not do any long-term contracts. Do month to month. Test out your return on investment. Find out what your ROI is. If it's 2 to 1, then lean into it. Our ROI on our sphere, on our A+ clients is 9 to 1. So we're going to take our dollars and circle back to what we started this conversation out around your sphere. If your closing gift is normally a small little, we started out with cookies, baking cookies. And now we actually do cutting boards and things that are nicer, very much nicer. So my advice to you guys is just take your dollars and be strategic about them. Either you cut them back or you lean into them like other guys have said here. Either way, look at your return on your investment and measure it, because what you track and measure, you will improve.
Awesome. So basically know your numbers and know where you're going to direct your dollars. Okay, we have like 2 or 3 minutes left. Please, we've posted that survey a couple of times in the chat. Please fill those out for us. We'd like to know if this added value for you. And maybe, let's see, we got a couple of minutes. Who wants to ask any questions to any of the panel agents? Oh, Paul said to be nice.
Yeah,
Yes, this was my first time, so.
Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, you guys are all involved with attraction. Have you thought about doing some quick little videos, like 15, 20-second videos, talking about your reason for moving to EXP and how that might be of value for other agents, attracting agents?
Yeah, Brian and I actually did a couple different videos out suite of why we switched from, where I came from Sereno to EXP. I mean, I've only been here for about 2 years, and this is the last move I'm ever going to make. So, yes, we have had and done videos on that, and that's what's coming out here in the next couple weeks.
Kirsten asked a question, knowing what you know now, what would you do different when you first started? My quick answer to that is I wish I would have started Brian Buffini back in 2002, but I didn't start it until 4 or 5 years ago. Anybody else?
Brian or Colleen? Yeah, I was just say I'm going to tag team on the Buffini, but go ahead.
Brian or Colleen, how long do you test your marketing to find out your ROI? How long do you do that marketing?
We actually measure our ROI monthly, but I think a good 3-month test is a minimum. 6-month test is optimal. 1 year is what we track into as a reflection. But you actually need to look at your money and see if it's actually giving you return immediately. Now, most things in real estate are not going to have a return right away. And so what you need to do is you need to actually look at your dollars, decide your budget, and be very, very strategic about it. We have wasted tens of thousands of dollars. I wish people would have told us not to spend money on. But at the end of the day, you've got to trial and error, and you got to do what works in your market, may not work in my market. What works in my market may not work in your market. But lean into your database, lean into your sphere, spend money on them, and you can always do the right thing.
Yeah, it's like Tracy said, she's a horse enthusiast. In Fort Worth, Texas, we're like the cutting capital of the U.S. and we have all these horse events. So I do so many of those events just by going up and networking with people. So Kirsten's wanting to know what you know now. Knowing what you know now, what would you do different when you first started? Anybody? I mean, really, it's all about feeling forward.
You know what? I don't know if this answers the question 100%, but just generally look at what you're doing in real estate as an opportunity to serve people. And I just can't tell you, you can't look at it, you can't be nervous. You're not selling people anything. You're helping people make a decision that has to do with one of the most important financial investments of their life. And if you decide that just really care about them and build that relationship with them and know that you're a financial advisor to them, and really put yourself in that place of value. I wish I personally had taken on, it took me a couple of years to really to really catch on and grasp what I needed to do in real estate. So it would be to just approach it with that relational approach, and it made such a huge difference.
I'll add, and that's a good point, Kristen. I'll add one thing. Through marketing, when I walk into a listing appointment, I don't talk much about real estate at all. They already know who I am because of my target markets and how I market. And so at that point, I'm looking to find something in common with the sellers. And so we can discuss that, because we don't need to talk about the company. I don't need to talk about my sales, my volume, because they already know it, because I've been mailing that to them. So I think it's all relationship based once you get through that point. So it's just something for you guys to think about.
You didn't
I
answer
agree.
the question.
Paul,
Brian, you didn't answer the question.
going down.
Yeah, I know. So what would I do differently? Not listen to Brian. I'm just joking. One thing I would do differently is not to try too many things. I mean, we used to own a company. We tried 10 different things. We should have just stayed at what we're good at, is selling real estate. So my advice to myself back then is not to get into big, huge deals, not commercial, just investment deals, trying to build a hotel, apartment complex flips. I would have said, slow down, stick with real estate, what you're good at, and stay there. But it was a good learning experience, best college education I ever got.
Good point, Paul. That's an excellent point.
Okay, last but not least, Tracy.
Sorry about that. Yeah, actually, I started to jump in there earlier, and my apologies. It really goes back to, again, what I said earlier about, I think Colleen said it again, keep it personal, be sincere, and that's what's going to be sustainable for everybody. I mean, it took me a little while to realize what was kind of the obvious, but we all try to overcomplicate it and worry about putting on that realtor hat, and just be you. And so again, I think more than anything, it's just keeping it personal and being sincere.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember this. Somebody told me, if it's only about the money, you're living in the shallows. They don't care how much you know, they care how much you care. So thank you for coming out, and thank all of you agents, Brian, Colleen, Paul, and Brian and Tracy for sharing your wisdom. We are a little past our time here. So, and sessions will be available on the eXp Realty YouTube channel. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for sharing your wisdom, and y'all have a great Friday and a great week.
Thank you all. You're great.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.